Hello and what is going on today, guys? Tomcat here, and today we are back in BeamNG Drive, and we're going to go over something that I thought was going to be a really fun idea, and it turned out to actually be very interesting. Now, I will go ahead and get this out of the way at the beginning of the video, and that is the fact that this video was supposed to have live commentary on it, and basically, I pulled an I don't even want to say what it was, because basically I did not turn my microphone on and didn't notice until after I had finished recording the video, but I had some really good moments in this gameplay that I figured were worth sharing with you guys, and I decided to, instead of going back and re-recording the entire video with live commentary, I decided to run with this gameplay and do post-recorded commentary over it for you guys. Now, BeamNG Drive is very interesting, right? It's got a very interesting community. It's a very weird game, but also, before we get into all of that, I want you to have a look at this Ford GT real quick, because this car, it's a BeamNG Drive mod, obviously, and it's really well modeled, and it's really fun to drive. It's really interesting, although the big thing that I found with it is the fact that it does understeer a bunch. Now, imagine this. You're playing Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, like the original and stuff like that. You drive past a police hot spot on the side of the road, and they come after you, and they are angry. Now, I didn't figure they would be as determined as they were, but they hit me right off the bat. They got very, very aggressive. I went to look back, and they barreled into me, pushed me into the fence, and that was that. Pushed me off the road, and my car was done. Now, keeping with that, also, there's a Lamborghini right there, and I'll explain why in a minute, but I put a wild card car at the other end of this country road to see what would happen if I let that car kind of run free while there was, the police cars chasing me, and then me running from them. I basically put that Lamborghini there to kind of simulate what it would be like in an open world with other AI cars driving around, but say you were in a police chase, similarly to how Need for Speed Hot Pursuit would be set up. Now, you could go much further with it. And by the way, this is where we had the Lamborghini sitting, which was completely on the opposite end of the road. But you could go much further with a recreation of something like this. But overall, I decided to keep it pretty simple because, number one, if you were to try to do a full-on recreation, like you wanted to have a bunch of cars running around, you wanted to have a bunch of different police cars placed in different ways, roadblocks, you can do that, but I wanted to keep it simple because this was my first time trying something like this. Now, in the future, I do want to go a lot bigger with these in-game recreations, but I think I accidentally showed the the line of code, the commands for the game, but this is an issue that can happen when respawning cars in BeamNG Drive, although I decided to just remove that one and take this car back to where we originally were wanting to be, and I left the police cars as being 2 instead of 3 because I figured with 3 it kind of got a little bit chaotic because you risk the 2 of them running into each other, but with 2 you actually allow them to have a little bit more room to breathe. And in that, in that sense where you allow them more room to breathe, it basically allows the police cars to drive more instead of having the AI worry about running into each other and things like that. And I think it kind of made it a lot more interesting and a little bit easier for them to do their job. Now, at this point, I decided to try to customize the handling of the Ford GT because I was running into some understeer issues, and the modifications that I did, to the camber and stuff like that, it helped a little bit, but it didn't help as much as I kind of thought it. Well, it didn't help as much as I hoped it would. I think that the way they have this car set up, the way it comes, just understeers a little bit too much, because you can dive into a corner at 30-35 miles an hour in this car, and it will just plow straight forward, which is not the case in the real Ford GT. I mean, I've never driven a real Ford GT, but at the same time, I feel like this car is not going to just plow straight on with understeer if you turn it into a corner at about 30 miles an hour. So, with that being said, you do have to drive it a certain way in BeamNG Drive to get it to handle well. And basically what that is you have to turn it in under braking. You have to load up the front end. Otherwise, BeamNG Drive just says no. It tells you that you are not allowed to do that, sir. or Magnum. But regardless, starting off another run, we're going ahead and heading up this country road, going towards where the police cars are placed. And this time, I wanted to really focus on staying on the road. I wanted to focus on staying on the road, but what I forgot to keep in mind was that wild card Lamborghini. Now, when I drove past these guys, I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're ready to go. We just put them on chase mode, and we run, and we try not to get hit. Cool. But I didn't think at all about that Lamborghini, and you'll see a little bit later on that not considering that Lamborghini at all was a bit of a mistake, because as I'm running from these guys, I didn't realize that coming around that corner would be the Lamborghini right there, and I would be instantly destroyed and ultimately busted. So for this next round, I decided to basically reset everything to its original positioning, because I had a pretty good idea of where I wanted everything at this point. I had the Ford GT at one end of the road, I had the Lamborghini at the other end of the road, and I had the police cars in the middle. So that really kind of allowed me to position everything where I wanted and get a general idea of how it would all work. Now, my main concern at this point was being hit by the Lamborghini. I mean, that was 100% my concern. Like, no matter what, my ultimate concern was being hit by the Lamborghini. So in consideration of that, I pretty much prepped myself for coming around that corner. I pretty much prepped myself for coming around that corner and seeing the Lamborghini, and tried to give myself a little bit more time to react. And I'll let you guys wait and see how that panned out for me. But I also positioned the police cars a little bit further apart this time, because I figured if they were positioned a little bit further apart, it would kind of allow them to have a little bit more room to drive, a little bit more room to breathe, and they wouldn't be on top of each other and running into each other as they pulled out of their little hiding spot. So we've got them on chase mode now, and they are running after me. Like, they're mad. Like, at this point, they're mad. They're trying to chase me down. They're trying to ram into the back of the car, and they're actually, I felt like they were chasing a little bit more aggressively this time, but I didn't look back because I knew the Lamborghini was going to be coming, so I swerved around the Lamborghini. The two police cars are still on my tail. They hit me. I spin around, waiting for an opportunity to go ahead and turn back the other way. Not busted yet. So I continue on down this road, and I actually ended up making it to the highway while carrying this whole thing on, but the car was a little bit damaged at this point. We did have some damaged body panels, some damaged steering, and basically that sort of basically brought the performance back just enough that when they hit me, and the car, basically I lost it, went straight into this pole, and it didn't matter because the drive wheels were off the ground, the car basically was done. But I wanted to see what they would do if I left them on chase mode. Like, I left them on chase mode and just let them do their thing. Now, one of them just kind of comes out of nowhere, drives towards me. The other one comes straight into the power pole, slams into my car, and I would consider that pretty much busted at that point. So, the police chase AI was actually better than I was expecting, and this was a really, really fun challenge. A really, it was simple, but it was a very fun challenge, and I really had a good time doing it, and I plan on doing more of these in the future. So that was a little bit of a Need for Speed Hot Pursuit sort of reenactment, and I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to leave me a like. Tell me in the comments down below what you guys thought of it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next time. Talk to y'all later.